This topic is block structures and non-block structures, storage allocation. First of all, in the last couple of classes also we are identifying what is the meaning of block structure languages and what is the meaning of non-block structure languages, what are the categories, and specifically in our class we'll see in what way the storage allocation will be takes place in the block structure programming languages and non-block structure programming languages, right? So we'll start with the block structure, non-block structure storage allocation. What is mean? Okay. Uh, so compiler must carry out the storage allocation for providing the access to the variables and data, whether it is a block structure or non-block structure programming languages. Okay. That is the reason whenever we are executing any program, it is carrying the program into the main memory. In the main memory, it is creating or it is whenever we are declaring any variables, it is creating memory locations for us. Later, those memory locations are binding with the names of the variables. Okay, those things, those link will be done through the symbol tables. Okay, only thing is here how we are allocating memory to the memory locations. Okay, once again, the memory location allocation to the variables whatever we are declaring in the programming languages is of two type. We are learning since the first year itself. Okay, compiler time allocation or a runtime allocation. Compiler time allocation means during the time we are compiling the particular program in order to rectify the syntax errors and semantic errors. That particular time, whatever the compiler is allocating memory, we call it as compiler time allocation. We also call it as static memory allocation. Okay, what is the meaning of dynamic allocation? Whenever the compiler is after compilation, after removing all the syntax and semantic errors, when you are executing the particular program dynamically as and when required, when you are allocating the memory, that memory is called as runtime time allocation or dynamic memory allocation or storage allocation, right? So here only thing is we are identifying here in what way it do instead of how it will do. Okay, a static memory
I was
a static memory allocation decision is taken by the compiler by looking at the text of the program. Okay, a static memory allocation decision is taken with the compiler by looking at the text of the program. What is the meaning of text of the program means? The statement of the programming language, but not by looking at what the program does when it executes, or not it does when the program executes. What it mean? What it mean? So it identifying whenever it is translating a statement into the statement, whenever it identifies say integer ABC, by looking only the integer ABC, it declares three variables ABC of integer data type, and accordingly it is allocating memory locations the memory. But it not considers in what way this ABC will be referred in the program during the execution time. Okay, that is the meaning. It identifies a statement, accordingly it is created a memory whether we are using or not. But the dynamic memory allocation means generally whenever we want that particular memory location, then it creates the memory location. Even you are not using the memory location, it may free the location. Okay, so just by seeing the statement or nothing but text of the program creating the memory locations is called as static memory allocation. Okay, is called as static memory allocation. Such memory allocation, whenever it is checking verifying the particular program after removing all the errors, okay, we call it as allocation done at the compilation time. Okay, right. So runtime allocation means a storage allocation decision is dynamic when it is executing or when the program is running. That means the allocation of memory or creation of memory locations will be taken dynamically, okay, or it will be decided when the program is executing or running. Okay, so allocation is done at runtime. Storage allocation can be done for two types of data variables. Storage allocation can be done for two types of variables, local data or non-local data. Local data or non-local data, right? The local data can be handled using the activation records. The local data can be handled by using the activation record. In the last class, I explained you what is the meaning of activation record. An activation record is a set of variables that indicates the status of a program or status of a function is being executed, and it contains different fields required for smooth handling of the program. Okay, so the local data can be handled using the activation record, whereas non-local data can be handled using the scope information. Non-local data or global data can be handled using the scope information. Similarly, in the last classes, we identified the scope information for the global variable in terms of a tree structure organization also. Okay, using the tree structure organization, we can identify whether variable can be accessed in the specific routine or in a specific procedure or function or not. Right. The block structure storage allocation can be done using the static scope. The block structure programming language can be done. That means block structure programming storage allocation means the data is allocated within the small block between two delimiters, whether it is open class and a closed class, or whether it is the keywords begin and end. Okay, that is called a block structure allocation, can be done using the static scope is sufficient. The non-block structured allocation can be done using the dynamic scope. Non-block structure programming languages can be done using the dynamic scope. Okay, what is the meaning of non-block structure? Means here we are doing with the help of loop or labels and go-to statements. Using the labels and go-to statements, and also identified as how the label can how and when the label can be declared. How and when the label can be declared, that also we identified. And also we identified how we can declare a global label dynamically. Okay, right. So only thing is here, the block structure storage allocation can be done using the static scope, whereas the non-block structure allocation can be done using dynamic scope. Okay, right. What is the difference between block structured allocation or block structured programming languages or non-block structured programming languages? Block structured programming language is nothing but a languages having structured programming approach, whereas non-block structured languages means not having the uh, structured programming language approach. Okay, structured programming language approach means having the statements with if statement, while statement, okay, for statements, or nothing but condition statements and loop statements declared in the programming languages. Okay, right. So the scope, we are identifying the scope that storage allocation are nothing but static storage. Static scope storage allocation includes definition of the procedures, okay, and declaration of the name or variables, and the scope of the declaration. Okay, in the declaration of the scope, we identified in the programming language as like static variables, external variables. Okay, we used those variable declarations earlier. Okay, whenever we are identifying the static or external, just it is indicating some meaning and also giving scope of the variable. Okay, all these types of definition of the procedure, declaration of the name or variable, scope of the declaration, automatically comes under the type scope storage allocation. Scopes are static scope storage allocation. Okay. Whereas the dynamic storage allocation, we are using dynamic scope. In such programming languages, we need to use activation of procedures, activation of the procedures. Automatically that concerned entry will be goes into the activation record. Okay, here binding of names, binding of the names with the labels and vagera, lifetime of a binding of names instead of declaring of a variable, scope declarations. Here you are using binding of names and lifetime of a binding. Okay, in case of the dynamic storage allocation or dynamic scope storage allocation, we are using activation of the procedure, activation of a procedure, binding of a name, lifetime of a binding. Right, be careful. There is a difference between the first three set of statements and the different three set of statements. Okay, right. Next, now we'll see what is the local data. Okay, or access to the non-local names or non-local data. Okay, and the local data can be accessed with the help of activation records. That means within the block structure, within the block structure programming languages, we use the local data. Okay, the local data can be accessed with the help of the activation record. The activation record contains all the local data, and it contains the offset related to the base pointer of the activation record. It contains an offset. That means the activation record is containing so many local variables. We need to identify whether it is the second local data variable or the third local data variable or fourth variable. All these variables will be referenced with reference to the offset to the base pointer of the activation record, because activation record is also stored in the memory only. A group of variables, we are calling it as the activation record. We need to know base pointer of the activation record. From the base pointer of the activation record, we need to identify whether the third data value or fourth data value or third local variable or fourth local variables with reference to the offset. With reference to the offset. What is this offset is giving us? This offset is giving us the proper position of the local data variable within a record. Within a record. So any reference to any variable x, a reference to any variable x in the procedure is nothing but base pointer pointing to the start of the procedure plus offset of variable x from base pointer. Base pointer of the start of the procedure plus or nothing but the activation record plus offset of the variable x from the base pointer, which is nothing but we also know how to calculate memory locations in the array. How we are calculating the address of a variable in the array? Address of the base address of the array plus number of elements, number of or nth element of the array into size of the data type, into size of data type. Okay, the size of data type into the n is giving nth element address with reference to the start address of the or base address of the array. Similarly here also, the reference to any variable x in the procedure is nothing but base pointer address of start of the procedure or activation record plus offset of variable x from base pointer. Okay, right. So access to non-local names will be done. A procedure may sometimes refer to variables. A procedure may sometimes refer to the variables. Okay, which are not local to it, Okay, such variables are called non-local variables. We are using a procedure to refer to the variables which are not local to the variables. Such variables are called as non-local variables. For non-local variables, there are two types of rules. For non-local variables, there are two types of rules that can be defined, either static or dynamic. Okay, the rules are two types of rules we can use in order to identify non-local data or non-structured programming languages data. Okay, right. We'll see the static scope rule and dynamic scope rule. The static scope rule generally is the static scope rule is also called as lexical scope. The static scope is also called as lexical scope. What it means is always is within the particular program statements in the we are doing it the compilation time or nothing but whenever we are scanning those symbols during the lexical analysis case, as and when we identified a declaration of variable, as and when we identify a declaration of a variable in the lexical analysis phase, we are declaring, we are allocating memory for it. That is the reason we are calling it as a static scope or also called as lexical scope. In this type, the scope is determined by examining the program test. In this type, the scope is determined by examining the program test, nothing but statements of the program. Example that languages using the static scope are Pascal, C, Ada, or even whatever the programming language we are using, Java, like the statements. Okay, these languages are also called block structured programming languages. What are the examples for the block structured programming languages? The block structured programming languages are Pascal, C, Ada, and so. Okay, right. Now, we are having some other programming languages which are not having the structured programming approach. In those programming languages, we can use dynamic scope rule. In that programming languages, we can use dynamic scope rule. So for non-block structured programming languages uses this dynamic scope allocation. The dynamic scope rule determines the scope of declaration of the names at runtime by considering the current activation records, records. Okay. Example for such programming languages are Lisp, Snowball, or the languages which use dynamic scope. These languages will be used for different types of application than the programming, general programming for the mathematical expressions. Okay, right. Once again, we'll see the activation record because in the once again the static program scope rule and dynamic scope rule we identified activation record. So in the activation record, why we are using this activation record? It contains the information needed for execution of the procedure. This activation record is containing information needed for each execution of a procedure. If it is a recursive procedure, whatever the number of times it is repeating the procedure, it may contain those many number of activation records also that I explained you in the previous classes. Okay, so activation record is a record which contains information for execution of a procedure. It contains information for each execution of a procedure. Okay, that is such information is stored in the record. That record is called as the activation record. It contains procedure calls and returns are usually managed by the runtime stack. It contains procedure calls and returns are usually managed by a runtime stack called as control stack. It contains a control stack. The control stack is containing all the required information. It contains a control stack which contains all information required for uh, execution of the program, and also it is maintaining when it is returning back. Okay. Each live activation has an activation record or a frame. Each activation means each call of the function or procedure. Each call of the function or procedure has an activation record or a frame. The root of activation tree is the bottom of the stack. The root of activation tree is the bottom of the stack. The current activation path specifies the current execution path specifies the content of the stack, with the last activation as record in the top of the stack. So activation record is containing once again 7 fields. Size of each field of the activation record can be estimated at the compile time. So the 7 fields are the return address, actual parameters, control link, access link, machine status, local data, temporary data that may be arise during the execution of the particular program. That may arise during the execution of the program. Okay, these are the things that will be contained in the activation record. What is the meaning of once again the temporary values? The temporary values are those values which are arising from the evaluation of the expressions, in case where those temporaries cannot be held, the registers. Okay, because generally the memory allocation while executing the particular program in the CPU will take in place in terms of CPU registers. Be careful, in terms of CPU registers. Okay, right. If it can't store in the CPU registers, then it creates a temporary variable. The local data is data local to the execution of the procedure, which is stored in the activation records. Machine status is nothing but it holds the information related to the status of the machine just before the call to the procedure. It contains the machine registers and program counter. Every CPU contains a set of machine registers and a program control counter. Okay, it will govern the execution of the program. Whenever the program control moves to some other function or procedure, the content of these machine registers and the program control will be saved as machine status. And also it contains access link. It is the optional link. It locates data needed by the called procedure. Okay, data needed by the called procedure, which is found somewhere else in another activation record, which is nothing but global data. It is also known as static link field. Okay, the last field is the control link. The control link, it is an optional link. Once again, it points to the activation record of the calling procedure. It points to the activation record of the calling procedure. It is also known as dynamic link field. So access link is referencing the called procedure. The control link is referencing the calling procedure. Okay, right. Finally, that it also contains actual parameters. The parameters of the calling procedure are also known as actual parameters. The parameters of calling procedure is known as actual parameters that we also know. Every time whenever we are executing any program, we studied in the all programming languages, but all these informations are maintained in the symbol table as part of the activation record. So the actual parameters are passed to the called procedures. These values are not placed in the activation record. But rather in the registers. These values are not placed in the activation records, but are placed in the registers because CPU registers. Finally, it contains the return values. The return values returns the results from the called procedure to the calling procedure. It is used to store the result of a function call that will be saved in the return value parameter of the activation record. Okay, right. Finally, Not all field functions are used by the compiler or languages. Registers can take place of one or more fields. Sizes of almost all fields can be determined with the compilation time itself, based on whatever the way we are declaring the variables. And execution arrays, when the processor has a local array whose size is determined the value of the actual parameters by the values of the actual parameters that is available only when the procedure is called at runtime. When the procedure is called at runtime, we can put the information we need to maintain. Okay, in such fashion, we are maintaining the static scope and dynamic scope of the variables being used by the structured programming and the non-structured programming languages, or also simply we can call it as a block structure and non-block structure storage allocation. Block structures and non-block structure storage